There's a lot of VR games out there, and sometimes it can be hard to know which ones are worth your money. Luckily, I've played a lot of them, and some of them are good, and some of them are bad. So today, we're breaking down the top 10 VR games that came out in 2025. We're focusing particularly on paid VR games that genuinely deliver value, polish, and a good return on your time. So let's jump in. First up, we have Marvel's Deadpool VR, and to be honest, I did not have high expectations for this game.
Sorry, Doc. I don't think there's a happy ending.
But luckily, I was wrong. Mostly because a lot of meta published titles this year have kind of been disappointing, like Civilization coming to the VR, and Star Wars was a bit disappointing. So I thought this was just kind of like another big IP being slapped onto a VR game, but it's actually pretty good. Deadpool VR is a rare example of a proper AAA VR game built specifically for the Quest 3 and 3DS. It nails the visuals, the humor, and the over-the-top action. Of course, you play as Deadpool in this game on a completely unhinged multiverse mission where realities are colliding, villains are crossing dimensions, and you're basically cleaning up chaos in the most Deadpool way possible. It's just more about action, slicing and dicing, and breaking the fourth wall. Visually, the cel-shaded style looks really good in VR. Even though it's a Quest standalone VR game, I think the cel-shaded look is a really smart look. Obviously, it's from a comic book, so it matches the Deadpool genre, and it just looks really great on the Quest. The game utilizes a lot of weapons. You have your katanas behind your back, you got guns that you can holster as well, and over time you unlock things like a grappling gun, which is behind your back, which I did have trouble grabbing on occasions, but it's cool. You can grapple to locations or grapple enemies towards you and slice them when they come up towards you, or drop them to the ground, whatever you want. You can also pick up enemy weapons, so you get things like snipers and shotguns, and all the guns feel really good. I really like that there is no kind of manual reload. I just want to shoot things and have fun. I don't want to worry about picking up ammo and fiddling around with the reload, and I think that's what this game's about. It's just about chaotic fun, and the weapons deliver on that really well. Like, being able to shoot and swap weapons feels really natural and fast. In terms of humor in this game, there is a lot of it. I'm personally, like, I've seen the first Deadpool movie, but I was a bit, it's fine, it's funny, but I definitely enjoyed the game more than the movie, so I kind of knew some of the references, and there's definitely a lot of Deadpool breaking the fourth wall.
VR wink. Finger me, player.
And there's lots of references in the game, like to the game developers and like the 3D artists and things like that. So it's all very fun. And if you've seen the movie, you know that Deadpool can't die. And whenever he gets a limb chopped off, it grows back. And it does that in the game. So that was a pretty funny moment as well. And you don't need to be a Deadpool fan to enjoy this game. It's just lots of fun. The writing and performances are hilarious. Like, it's not Ryan Reynolds, but it feels like Ryan Reynolds, and all the other characters are full of charisma as well. And the story just feels really fun as well. I think I had more fun with this game than I did with Batman. While Batman is a very good game, it was a lot more serious, whereas this is just jump in and have fun. Now, we all know Deadpool is very rude and over the top, but there is a kiddie mode in the settings if you do want to turn off swearing. So if you've got kids or something like that playing this game, you can turn on the kiddie mode if you don't want the swearing. And I will say the combat can feel a little repetitive at times, because it's just kind of NPCs coming at you all the time. You're shooting them and just more and more waves. And I don't know if it's just me, but I had issues where the NPC enemies just didn't like rock up. Like, I was just kind of hanging around and being like, where are they? And eventually they'll rock up, and then you shoot them, and then it triggers like the next event. So I had some weird issues like that. So I don't know if that was like a bug, or it's just the game feels slow at times. So if you want a big budget superhero experience that actually delivers on standalone VR hardware, this is definitely one to get. And this game is only available on Quest only. I think it's around $50 to buy. So it is on the more expensive side, but I did genuinely have a lot of fun with this. Even going in with low expectations and not being a Deadpool fan, I'll definitely be recommending this one to people. Next up, we have Ghost Town, and this is one that came out a bit earlier in the year, and it's an atmospheric puzzle adventure from Fireproof Games. They're the developers behind the popular game The Room, and this game is hauntingly beautiful. It's very immersive and just a masterclass in VR storytelling. You play as a photographer who enters abandoned, haunted locations to unravel the mystery of a restless spirit, and each environment tells its own story through puzzles, objects, and environmental clues, almost like walking through a ghost documentary where you piece everything together. And visually, this game is stunning, and I played on the Quest version, version and was really impressed. The lighting in this game is so well done and all the environmental detail is just really immersive. Kind of feels like exploring a live action ghost story. The voice acting was also really good as well. It definitely felt like a high quality produced game. I really enjoyed the storytelling as well. But this game is definitely a puzzle game. There's lots of tactile puzzles and it's a big element of the game. And a lot of the puzzles were quite smart, like I enjoyed working them out, but at the same time, there's a lot of puzzles. So you make sure that you like puzzle games before getting into this, because I did find myself getting stuck in a few puzzles and getting a bit frustrated. But if you played games like The Room or other kind of like puzzle experiences, you'll know that you're gonna like this game. Now it is on the shorter end. It's not a long game, but it's definitely worth it in terms of the storytelling, the puzzles, and the visually impressive graphics. This game is available on the Quest and SteamVR, and it's about $30 to buy. Next up, we have Thief VR, which literally just came out, and they are the sponsor for today's video. This is Thief VR, Legacy of Shadow, a stealth-focused VR adaptation of the classic franchise. You play as Magpie, sneaking through the shadows of a grim, mysterious city to uncover an ancient artifact. This VR game does something genuinely unique that I haven't seen before. You can physically blow out candles using your microphone. And that's just one example. There are so many clever interactive elements in this game that make it feel properly tactile. And staying in the dark actually matters. If you step into the light, the city watch will spot you. So you've got heaps of different ways to outsmart them. You can toss objects to create distractions, sneak up to the guards to pickpocket them, or use your weapons to quietly take them down. There's also a bow with multiple arrow types like fire, water, or even a grapple arrow for vertical movement, and it feels great to use in VR. Everything in the world reacts the way you expect. You can pick up, throw, or smash items. You can check behind picture frames for hidden switches that vibrate when you find them. And of course, no stealth game is complete without a bit of lockpicking. Also, you can blow a whistle to call your pet bird that delivers stolen trinkets for you. All of these tactile systems just work beautifully in VR and make the whole experience way more immersive. I'm still working my way through the game, but honestly, I'm really enjoying it so far. It's out now on the MetaQuest, PlayStation VR 2, and SteamVR, and I honestly believe that this game deserves to be on this list. Alright, back to the video. Next up, we have Arken Age. Now, this game came out on Steam earlier in the year, but it's just come to the Quest. It's a big, proper VR sci-fi action-adventure game with tons of combat, climbing, gadgets, and exploration. And this is the kind of game that really utilizes the mechanics of virtual reality. You awaken in a ruined sci-fi world as the Untethered One, a survivor caught in a war between ancient machines and corrupted technology. Your goal is to explore massive zones, build your gear, uncover the history of a lost civilization, and push back against an AI-driven threat consuming the world. And this game is visually very impressive. I heard it looks stunning on the Steam version, but I was impressed to see it look quite good on the Quest as well. I'm pretty sure I let out an audible wow because I was playing on the Quest version. The game starts you off with like a longish tutorial because there are a lot of gameplay mechanics in this. That's where the game really shines. You have your pistol, which you pick up kind of bullets that you put behind your back, and to reload, you just kind of hold it behind your back to reload, which is a good mechanic. You have things like a shield with a button you can pop out and pop out a shield. You have like a sword thing as well. And a really cool mechanic, you got these like climbing hooks, and to activate them, you just kind of like flick your wrist upright and they pop out and you can grab onto them and start climbing. And the climbing feels really good. There's also healing mechanics where you can get these like fruits and they have these little berries on them and you bite each berry to heal, and that just feels really immersive and just really kind of catered to VR. And all the combat and traversal is just made for VR. There is about 10 to 14 hours of content and it's very polished across the PSVR and Quest versions. I will say though, I did not care for the story. I was a bit like, I don't know what's going on and don't really care. But I really enjoyed the gameplay mechanics. Out of all the games in this list, this is probably my least favorite, which I know I might get hate about. I can definitely appreciate the gameplay mechanics and it definitely deserves to be on this list, but I feel like I need a bit more story for myself. But in terms of sheer gameplay and mechanics, it definitely delivers. And this one's available on Quest, Steam, and PSVR 2, and it's around the $40 price point. Next up, we have The Midnight Walk, and this one is just beautiful. It's a claymation stop motion style VR game that feels like stepping into an animated film. This game is also a flat screen game with VR VR support, but it feels like a VR first game. I think what really sets this game apart is just the visuals. It's absolutely stunning, and it's like literally handcrafted clay that they've used to make this game. And the world they've created is just very like eerie, and they've really created their own style. In this game, you're following the story of Pot Boy, which is this little cute pot boy thing, and it's his job to kind of light up the world again because something dark has taken over. And it's a very, I guess, cliche story, but the art direction just takes it to a completely new level. And I just love all the different creatures in this game. They're just so bizarre and creepy, and if you are a fan of more kind of like dark stuff, I think you might like it. But I really love that this game is properly made for VR. It's not like a tacked on experience. For example, there's things where you gotta light matches, and instead of just like pressing a button, you physically get to pick up the match and strike the box and take it over to light a fire. And there's elements in the game as well where you gotta like hide in cupboards from bad guys and that kind of thing. And speaking of the bad guys, they are terrifying. So this game is a little bit horror-ish, I guess. It's definitely got eerie vibes, and there are a few jump scares, but I absolutely love this game. It's a piece of art. It is only available on PSVR, so Steam only, but if you have access to a gaming PC, I highly recommend it. Whether it's VR or flat screen, it's a great game. The storytelling in this game is really quite emotional as well. Like, you get really attached to Pot Boy, like you really want him to succeed, and there's kind of like sad bits. That's a really nice element of the game as well. I will say it's a bit light on gameplay, but the atmosphere they create makes it really memorable. Next up, we have Quantum Void. More people need to know about this game because it is amazing. Quantum Void is an atmospheric sci-fi exploration game with some great world building. In this game, you're an engineer investigating a mysterious cosmic rift that has swallowed ships, stations, and entire crews. And as you enter the anomaly, you explore derelict structures, recover logs, repair systems, and uncover the truth behind the void that is distorting time and space. I don't want to spoil too much about this game, but the first half an hour of this game is absolutely mind-blowing. I've played a lot of VR, and there's not much that really wows me anymore, but this game, I was like, wow. Like, I'm pretty sure I was just saying wow nonstop. It really blew me away, and it is super polished, way beyond its budget, because this game is made by one person, which is so insane, which really puts AAA games to shame. And what I really love about this game is that it has a very retro sci-fi aesthetic to it. The best way to describe the style is like the Alien movies. It's got lots of analog interfaces, and something I love about this game is like you can interact with everything in this game, and that's the little details I love about VR that really make me fall in love with VR games. There's just so much attention to detail in this game, and this game is very good value for the price. I think this one is only about $15, which is insane, and it's only available on Quest. And again, looks absolutely stunning on the Quest. I could not believe I was playing a Quest game. I was like, what? How is this a Quest game? It looks so good. And also, in terms of value, there are multiple endings in this game. I'm yet to kind of get through the multiple endings, but I've heard they're all really interesting. So you just get a ton of replayability. But this game's, I guess, more of a slow burn in terms of gameplay, but a very strong one with some pretty cool wow moments. I highly recommend this game. I love recommending indie games. It's a really hidden gem if you haven't heard of it. It's called Quantum Void. Absolutely love it. Next up, we have Crave. And this game is pretty much cave spelunking. That's why people climb through like really narrow caves where you can't even move. Like, you just gotta keep going and you can't move around. So this game is great if you love immersion and just doing things in VR that you would never do in real life. I think this game proves that VR can make you genuinely feel the terrifying emotion of being underground. There's a bit of a story with this one. Like, as you're going through the caves, you're listening to your dad's audio tapes. He used to be a serial cave spelunker, so you're unlocking a story as you go. There's also like a horror mode, and they are adding more like caves or episodes over time, and some of these caves kind of have interesting background stories as well. But the climbing in this game is very realistic, so you basically grab to pull yourself through the cave, because it's a tiny cave, basically the size of your body. So you grab to pull yourself, and then when you go in really narrow areas, you have to hold the trigger buttons to hold your breath so you can fit your lungs and ribs through these smaller sections. So that's a really interesting mechanic. There's also things like, I think they're called pictons, where you got to smash them into the wall so you can climb up them. A big element of this game is that you can get lost. So there are sections around the cave where you can draw on them, like arrows on whichever way you're going, so you don't get lost, because there are multiple different ways to go. And another mechanic is the light at the front of your head. So there is a battery element in this game. So if you take too long to get through a cave, your battery will run out, and you can adjust the light to be kind of, it goes further, but it's more narrow, or it can be closer and wider. So there's lots of really interesting mechanics in this game that just suit VR so well. But this game just brings such a great level of immersion and really utilizes the different VR mechanics. This one is available for Quest only for now, I believe, and they're continually releasing updates, and it's around $15 to buy. And I say around because I know there's sales at the moment. So with a lot of these games, if you use code Naysy, I think it gets you 20% off up until like January 1st. All right, next up we've got Frost Survival VR. You wake up alone in a frozen wasteland after your boat has crashed on this random island, and your goal is to gather resources, build shelter, and survive against the cold while uncovering the secrets of the island. Now this game is your classic crafting and survival based game, but I personally think it's really well done. All the mechanics are really designed for VR. Like you can pick up rocks and hit a tree, which will knock down the tree, which you can then cut into smaller pieces, but depending like what angle or what size you cut the tree, it'll make different planks depending on that. So I think that's a really cool mechanic. So you can build tools and weapons to catch animals that are around, and you can go really in depth with this stuff if you want as well. But one of the big mechanics of this is that you are in the snow, so you can freeze to death. So building fires is important to stay warm. Also eventually upgrading your gear, so you have coats and things like that to survive the cold. And the more geared up you are, the further you can explore the environment as well, and through that unlock more about the mystery. Something cool about this game is that it has multiplayer, I think co-op, so you can only play with one other player, but it also has an interesting element of insanity. So if you aren't like eating enough food or getting enough water or spending too much time alone, you do start to go insane. So you start to see things which really affects the gameplay as well. So if you do like the survival crafting genre, I think this game is really well done, and I really want to see it get better and progress more. And this one is on Quest only, but it's only $15, so I think it's a pretty good value for that. Next up we have Scared by Squares, and the concept for this game is quite bizarre, but I absolutely love it. Because this game definitely lives up to its title. You are actually scared by squares. The story is you're a prisoner dropped into a failing digital prison called the Cube, and you're tasked with finding anomalies in the environment that don't belong. But the deeper you go, the more the cube's perfect geometry starts to distort and something begins watching you. So it's kind of a minimalist liminal horror game, similar to games like The Backrooms, and it's genuinely creepy. Like for the first level, everything's in black and white and made out of squares essentially, and it really creates an eerie atmosphere. Like the sound design makes it feel like you're standing over these big chasms. And where it gets scary is that these random squares do literally jump scare you. And I love a good jump scare. I don't mind a cheap jump scare. Like if something jumps out at me from nowhere, I love it. Give me a cheap jump scare. So there's definitely a lot of that in this. And there's also some puzzles. There's not a huge amount of puzzles, but there are puzzles to work out to kind of unlock sections. And there's a lot of traversing over kind of like narrow areas. But this game really just creates a lot of interesting atmosphere. And I think it's just such a unique concept. Like it's literally a black and white world out of squares, and it's really eerie and terrifying. And then when you progress to the second level, it's all like multicolored, so kind of similar concept, but there's now color. And I believe this game is still in early access, so they are releasing more and more levels, and it does say it will support multiplayer, so that's pretty interesting as well. So if you do like kind of scary games, I think this is a really unique concept, and I did actually really enjoy it. It kind of came out of nowhere. It just kind of popped up into my email inbox. I'm like, I like horror, I'll check it out. And it's probably the best horror game I played this year, to be honest, which is actually a bit disappointing, but it's actually really good. It's on the MetaQuest only, and I think this one's around $10. Next up, we have CYBRID. Now, I may have gone on about this game a bit too much, but I absolutely love it and want to do as much as I can for this game to get more attention. And obviously, you guys know I like rhythm games, so of course I'm going to include a rhythm game. So CYBRID is kind of like Beat Saber mixed with Pistol Whip. You are on rails and you have enemies flying towards you. And you have some sabers in different colors, and you have to slice the enemy that matches that color in the direction of the arrow. So it feels quite satisfying and everything's in time to the music, but then it does switch over and you get enemies shooting at you. So you just press the trigger and you switch over to shooting with guns as well. And that's all in time to the music. So very Pistol Whip in that regard. It's also in a cyberpunk genre. So the worlds are all cyberpunk themed. So you get your kind of classic cyberpunk city. But you also get things like a desert world, similar to in the Blade Runner movie. And it's just got a really strong cyberpunk aesthetic. And I'm a cyberpunk fan. I love it. I think it's really great. I think what's most impressive is this game is made by one person. And I think that's a very impressive feat, especially since he's made all the music by himself. And I think it's just a real labor of love, this game. And if you like VR rhythm games, it's a very, very solid rhythm game. This one, I would say it's probably on the harder side. So if you are new to rhythm games, you might struggle a little bit. But I think it's absolutely stunning game. Really, really fun to play. And I really want to see this game succeed. So I'm going to yell about it from the rooftops. It did come out on Steam a while ago, but it did officially release on Quest this year. So I'm including in this list. I think this one is $16 to buy, but there is a demo as well if you want to check it out beforehand. Next up, we have Hyperbullet, and this may be one that you may have not heard of. It's currently in early access and only came out like a month ago. And again, this is an indie game made by a small studio, an Australian small studio. It's essentially a wave shooter. So when they emailed me, they're like, hey, we're making a wave shooter. I'm like, wave shooter, really? But then I played it and I'm like, oh, this is like legit really good. So what makes this different is that it's a rogue-like, which makes it extremely replayable. The great thing about this game studio is that they know polish. In this game, you're essentially shooting waves of blocks, but these blocks are very neon and pretty, and when you shoot them, kind of like color explodes from them. It feels like being inside a retro arcade unit. It just feels really vibrant, and there's something about the gameplay that just makes it super, super addictive. I really got stuck into this game. So the more you shoot, you build up your combos, which improves your score. You can unlock different cards and elements which add to that roguelike factor. So if you're just looking for like a casual game to jump in and kind of have some fun shooting, I highly recommend this game. You don't have to play it casually, because I can imagine people get quite hardcore with this and chase some scores, but it's just a really polished roguelike shooter, and I think it deserves some attention because it's really well made. This one is a hidden gem and it's definitely worth checking out, but I think it's actually free. That's pretty cool. So the game's free, I think. So I did want to keep this list to 10 games, but I do want to give a special mention to Reach. I didn't want to include it 100% because this game did have some issues at launch with some people not being able to run it through virtual desktop on their PC. But I played the Quest version and I was very impressed with it. Like, I need to play more of it to really form like an opinion, but the gameplay mechanics are really fun. It's essentially like Mirror's Edge or Uncharted in VR. There's a lot of climbing and a lot of running and jumping over rooftops and things like that, and it just feels really natural and fun. Also, the graphics are quite impressive as well. It feels like a huge game. Like, you start off in one part of the world and then you're in a totally different part of the world. I really enjoyed this one, but didn't want to recommend it 100% because I need to play it more and it did have some issues. But let me know if you played Reach and really enjoy it, because what I played of it was really good as well. But that pretty much sums up my top 10 VR games of the year. I think it's been a pretty good year for VR games. I know people talk about VR is dead, but I don't know, that's a pretty good lineup. That's a pretty good lineup, and some very decent games. I think the big thing we're starting to see is like VR is settling a little bit, and we're starting to see a lot of these indies shine. So I'm really looking forward to what the indies are producing. I think with the big AAA studios as well, like they're learning what works and doesn't work. So I think while VR might have had like a peak, I think it's starting to settle. So I don't think it's dying, it's settling. So which means we're starting to get some really good games. So I hope you enjoyed this roundup of VR games. Obviously, this is what I played and I've enjoyed, and everyone's different. So let me know what VR games you played this year that you really enjoyed and you think others should check out. Or if you disagree with any of my options, let me know. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to use code Naysy to get discounts off your Quest games, and I'll see you later.